let's talk about the single most infuriating sound in the known universe. It isn't a car alarm going off at 3 a.m. It isn't the sound of a dial-up modem connecting to the internet in 1998. No, it is that high-pitched, whining, electric hum that happens right next to your ear just as you are drifting off to sleep. You know the sound. It triggers a primal rage deep in your brainstem. It is the sound of nature mocking you. It is the sound of the mosquito. On the surface, the mosquito is an absolute joke of an animal. It is an evolutionary glitch. It looks like a pair of eyelashes glued to a hypodermic needle. It has the durability of a soap bubble and the flying skills of a drunk helicopter pilot. If you look at the roster of Earth's predators, you see lions with bone-crushing jaws, sharks with rows of serrated teeth, and eagles that can spot a rabbit from the stratosphere. And then there's this guy, a fragile, buzzing stick figure that seemingly exists only to ruin picnics and make you smack yourself in the face. If evolution is a survival of the fittest, the mosquito feels like a clerical error. It has no armor, it has no claws, it has no venom that instantly drops prey. Its primary defense mechanism is just hoping you miss. By all logic, this creature should have been wiped out eons ago, eaten by dragonflies or just blown away by a slightly stiff breeze. And yet, here is the paradox. This annoying little fragility, this buzzing embodiment of weakness, is technically the most successful predator on the planet. It has conquered every continent except Antarctica. It has brought empires to their knees. It is the only animal on Earth that actively hunts human beings in our own homes, and, spoiler alert, it is winning. Today, we're going to look at why nature's most hated pest is actually its most terrifying assassin. Let's be honest, looking at a mosquito under a microscope is like looking at a biological diagram of how not to build an animal. If you were designing the ultimate killing machine, you wouldn't start with a body plan that looks like it was made out of hair clippings and regret. First, let's address the sheer lack of physical integrity. The mosquito is pathetically fragile. A raindrop, a literal drop of water, weighs 50 times more than a mosquito. If a raindrop hits a mosquito directly in mid-air, it's the equivalent of a school bus falling on a human. The only reason they survive rainstorms is because they are so light that they don't even break the surface tension of the water. They just sort of get pushed aside by the air pressure of the falling drop. Their survival strategy is literally be too insignificant to crush. And let's talk about those legs. They look like they were stolen from a daddy longlegs that went on a hunger strike. They are dangly, awkward landing gear that barely seem capable of supporting the mosquito's non-existent weight. They don't have the powerful spring-loading of a flea or the gripping power of a tick. They just sort of drape there. Then there is the mouth, the proboscis. It looks like a straw, but let's call it what it is, a face needle. It's hideous. It's a complex sheath of 6 different needles, yes, 6, that they have to surgically insert into your skin. But the design is so specialised that it renders them useless for anything else. A lion can use its mouth to carry its young, eat a gazelle, or roar to mark territory. A mosquito can only do one thing: slurp. It is a one-trick pony, and it's a gross trick. But the biggest flaw? The noise, the sheer unmitigated audacity of the buzz. Evolutionarily speaking, stealth is usually silent. Owls fly without making a sound. Cats walk on padded paws. The mosquito, it screams, "I am coming to eat you," at a frequency specifically designed to be heard by the human ear. It's like a burglar who breaks into your house while playing a trumpet. It is a tactical failure of the highest order. Why announce your presence? Why tell the giant hand-wielding ape that you're landing on its neck? It's not an intimidation tactic, it's just bad engineering. The sound comes from their wings beating hundreds of times a second, which is an exhausting amount of energy expenditure just to move 3 inches to the left. They are ugly, they are loud, they are fragile, and they are fundamentally annoying. If the animal kingdom had a high school yearbook, the mosquito would be voted most likely to get swatted. Because the mosquito's built like a discarded twig, its lifestyle is frankly embarrassing. It lives the life of a desperate, paranoid scavenger. Consider where they come from. A majestic eagle is born in a high nest overlooking a mountain range. A shark is born in the deep, mysterious blue ocean. A mosquito. It is born in a stagnant puddle inside an old tyre behind a gas station. That is their kingdom. They require standing, murky water to reproduce. They are the kings of the bird bath, the emperors of the clogged gutter. Their larvae, which look like wriggling little aliens, hang upside down from the water's surface, breathing through a snorkel on their butts. It is not a dignified start to life. And let's talk about the diet. Actually, let's clear something up. Male mosquitoes are arguably the most whipped creatures on Earth. They don't even drink blood. They drink flower nectar. They're aggressive vegans who just want to hang out on a nice orchid. But the females are the vampires. But they aren't cool vampires like Dracula. They are desperate vampires. They don't drink blood for sustenance. They drink it because they are biologically incapable of making eggs without stealing protein from someone else. It's a parasitic dependency. They cannot reproduce without committing assault. This leads to a lifestyle of constant high-stakes gambling. Imagine if every time you wanted to have a baby, you had to attack a Godzilla-sized monster that hated you. That is the life of a female mosquito. She has to navigate a world of giants, humans, cows, horses, land on them, drill into their flesh, and steal their bodily fluids, all while knowing that one twitch, one tail swish or one hand slap means instant death. The return on investment is terrible. They risk total annihilation for a microliter of blood. And because they are so slow, mosquitoes top out at about 1.5 miles per hour, they can't chase prey. They can't outrun predators. They have to wait. They have to lurk. They rely on us being asleep or distracted or drunk at a barbecue. They are the opportunists of the highest order, capitalizing on our inability to cover every inch of our skin with DEET. It's a pathetic existence. They live short, brutal lives, usually only a few weeks, spent entirely in the pursuit of being a nuisance. They don't build grand structures like termites. They don't make delicious honey like bees. They don't aerate the soil like worms. They just whine, steal, breed in dirty water, and die. It is a cycle of misery that has been going on for millions of years. If you looked at the mosquito's resume, you'd toss it in the trash. It seems like an animal that is barely hanging onto the bottom rung of the evolutionary ladder. But wait a minute. If the mosquito is so fragile, so stupid, and so poorly designed, why is it still here? And not just here, but everywhere. We tend to judge animals by human standards of strength. We respect the tiger for its muscle, the cheetah for its speed, and the elephant for its size. By those metrics, the mosquito is a failure. But evolution doesn't care about bench press stats. Evolution cares about one thing: replication. And by that metric, the mosquito isn't a failure. It is a masterpiece. Let's re-examine that fragile body. It turns out being small isn't a bug, it's a feature. The mosquito survived the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, while the T-Rex was choking on ash and starving to death because it was too big to sustain itself. The mosquito was just buzzing along, finding small mammals to snack on. Their small size allows them to hide in microclimates that larger predators can't access. They can ride wind currents to travel hundreds of miles. They are the ultimate survivalists, and that loud, dumb flying technique, it's actually powered by some of the most advanced sensory technology in the biological world. You think they are just bumping into you by accident? Wrong. The mosquito is a homing missile with 3 separate guidance systems. First, they smell you. From over 100 feet away, a mosquito can detect the carbon dioxide you exhale. They track the invisible plumes of gas like a shark tracks blood in the water. As they get closer, they switch to visual navigation, looking for high-contrast silhouettes, which is why they love dark clothing. And then, when they are right on top of you, They switch to thermal imaging. They can sense the heat radiating from your body and the specific humidity of your sweat. They know exactly where your blood vessels are closest to the surface of your skin. They aren't blindly buzzing. They're executing a complex multi-stage tactical approach. And remember that weak mouth. That proboscis is a marvel of engineering. It's not just a needle, it's a surgical kit. When she bites you, she doesn't just stab. 2 of the needles have serrated teeth, like steak knives, that saw through your skin with such microscopic precision that you often don't feel it happening. Another needle probes around specifically looking for a blood vessel. Once she finds it, she doesn't just suck, she spits. She injects saliva containing a cocktail of chemicals, anticoagulants to stop your blood from clotting, vasodilators to open your veins, and numbing agents so you don't smack her until she's done. The itch you feel later? That's not the bite. That's your body's allergic reaction to her spit. By the time you feel the itch, she's long gone. She pulled off the heist and left you with the bill. We have been looking at the mosquito all wrong. We see a weak insect. Nature sees the ultimate extraction unit, a stealth drone designed to harvest energy from apex predators, without them even realizing it until it's too late. But being a good thief doesn't make you a predator, right? A predator kills things. A mosquito just leaves a bump. This is where the story shifts from impressive biology to absolute horror show. The mosquito's not just an annoyance. The mosquito is the single deadliest animal in the history of planet Earth, and it isn't even close. Let's look at the numbers. Sharks kill about 10 people a year. Lions kill maybe 100. Crocodiles, hippos, elephants, the monsters of the wild, combine to kill a few thousand. Humans, with all our wars, guns and cars, kill about 475,000 other humans a year. The mosquito kills estimated 700,000 to 1,000,000 human beings every single year. They are the grim reapers of the animal kingdom. But here's the genius of it. The mosquito doesn't kill you with its own strength. It doesn't need venom, it doesn't need claws. It has weaponized other life forms. The mosquito is a biological dirty bomb. It is a vector. When that female mosquito spits into your bloodstream, she isn't just delivering numbing agents, she is delivering passengers. Malaria, dengue fever, yellow fever, Zika, West Nile virus, chikungunya. These are microscopic killers that have hitched a ride in the mosquito's salivary glands. The mosquito is essentially an intercontinental ballistic missile for disease. Historically, the mosquito has killed more humans than all the wars in history combined. Some estimates suggest that nearly half of all humans who have ever lived, in the entire 200,000-year history of our species, died from a mosquito-borne illness. Let that sink in. Half. They have toppled empires. Alexander the Great. He didn't die in battle. He likely died of a West Nile virus or malaria delivered by a mosquito. The construction of the Panama Canal was nearly abandoned because mosquitoes were killing the workers faster than they could hire them. The reason sickle cell anemia exists in the human genome is because our bodies were desperately trying to mutate to survive malaria. The mosquito is so powerful it has literally forced us to rewrite our own DNA just to cope with its existence. This is the hidden genius. The mosquito has achieved the ultimate goal of a predator: dominance over the ecosystem. But it did it through a proxy war. It doesn't fight us. It infects us. It has turned the entire planet into a buffet, and we are powerless to stop it. We have invented nuclear weapons, the internet, and space travel, but we still cannot figure out how to stop a tiny buzzing insect from killing 1 million of us a year. In the game of evolution, brute strength is checkers. The mosquito is playing 4D chess. It has leveraged its parasitic lifestyle to become the apex predator of apex predators. It feeds on lions. It feeds on bears. It feeds on us. It is the only animal that looks at a human being, the dominant species on Earth, and sees nothing but a juice box. So the next time you hear that high-pitched whine in the darkness, don't just get annoyed. Feel a shiver of primal fear. That isn't just a bug. That is a descendant of a lineage that has killed kings, halted armies, and shaped the genetic destiny of mankind. The mosquito is the ultimate example of the paradox of survival. It proves that you don't need to be big, strong, or smart to rule the world. You just need to be persistent, stealthy, and carry a really nasty biological payload. We might hate them, in fact we should hate them, but we have to respect the hustle. They have taken a fragile stick-figure body and turned it into the most efficient killing mechanism nature has ever produced. They are the masters of asymmetric warfare, proving that sometimes the smallest things cast the biggest shadows, or in this case, leave the biggest welts. We try to swat them, spray them, and engineer them out of existence, but they are still here, buzzing in our ears, reminding us that we aren't the ones in charge. So if you agree that an animal's insignificant fragility can actually be its ultimate biological camouflage for mass destruction, then hit subscribe to join us at Rico Wonder, and let me know in the comments, what animal's hidden genius should we uncover next?